Why not try to become the absolute best man you can become right now in every single way? And don't wait 10 more years. You've already been doing that. You've already been waiting 10 more years. Don't wait another 10 more years. Just do it today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rising Father podcast. I'm Chris Rodack. Happy you are here with me. Another solo episode. Cranking them out now. Today I'm talking all about identity and things we can do to boost our identity. Talking about positive affirmations. We're going to talk about how you view yourself and how that affects what you do. So this won't be a super long one, but it is a very, very important one. Last podcast we talked about the fire men have inside of them. It was called Iron John. We talked about believing yourself, believing in yourself, and it was also a very important podcast. But this one probably is even more important because how you view yourself dictates everything that happens in your life. If you've ever read the book Atomic Habits, if you've ever read the book Psycho-Cybernetics, I'm going to be taking different concepts from there and also my own concepts to talk you through these things. So basically what we're talking about is how do you talk about yourself? How do you see yourself? When you think about yourself, is it in a positive light? Is it in a negative light? What is the story you tell yourself about yourself? So if you were to write down a story about you that took you from birth to where you are right now, how would it read? Would it be a nightmare story? Would it be an adventure story? Would it be, would it have a positive ending, a negative ending? Would it be inspiring? Would you be the villain or the superhero in your own head? And how you read your story is different from the way other people would write their story about you. Because how we see ourselves is very different from the way other people see us. Sometimes we can see ourselves better than other people see us. Sometimes we can see ourselves far more negatively than other people see us. We are very often our own worst critic. I know I can be, and it's something that I try to battle back is, when you mess up, when you have a failure, when things don't go your way, not beating yourself down from it, but just rebounding and becoming the absolute best person you can be for your family, for everyone. So that comes into it. That is definitely part of it. But if you mess up, if you fail at a task, if you disappoint yourself, what words come into your head? What do you say? Is it positive self-talk? Is it don't worry about it, you'll get it next time? Or is it, man, you screwed that up. You always screw it up. You're never going to get this right. And that was kind of the way I used to talk to myself. And I've been working at changing that. It's a skill that you can improve. It's something you can practice. It's something you can 100% change. I changed it completely in my head. But those thoughts still come back. But whenever I was trying to change myself physically, change myself financially, and things weren't going my way, like I would be doing the things that I should be doing, but I wasn't seeing the results, so then I would beat myself down, which was just silly and stupid because it takes time to build up to where you want to go. You have to work at it consistently. Things aren't going to happen immediately when you want them to happen. It's not on your terms. You have to consistently accept the ups and downs and know that you're going to have highs and you're going to have lows, but it's just a little blip on your adventure. It's just a little blip on your way to the mountaintop. And that's the reality of it. But what would happen is I would have these little blips, I'd have these little down times, and then I would let it keep me down for too long. I would say, ooh, I screwed up. I'm the kind of guy that screws up. And what does that do now? So if I just told myself I'm the kind of guy that screws up, I believe that, I think I'm a guy who screws things up. Am I going to screw up more things or less things in the future because I just told myself that? I'm going to screw up more things because I just told myself I'm the kind of guy that screws up. What if I told myself instead, all right, you messed up, no big deal. What do we have to do next? Okay, we can fix this, right? Yeah, we can fix this. You always fix things. You always fix things. You always come back and rebound stronger than ever because you're just a badass. That's what you do. You learn from every single failure. You come back stronger, you come back smarter, and you come back so hard that you can't even remember the failure. So what are we going to do now? What if I told myself that? Do you think I would make more or less mistakes and make more or less failures? Obviously, I would make much less mistakes and failures if I talked to myself in that uplifting way. And imagine if you talk to your kids like that. Like, imagine if you built your kids up that way instead of saying, man, you're so sloppy. You're always so sloppy. Or why are you on the couch? You're so lazy right now. You're always lazy. Like, what if instead you phrased it in a different way? What if you said, hey, I know you're on the couch right now playing the Switch, but what if we went outside because, man, you're so good at basketball. Like, I want to see you practicing basketball. I'll go play basketball with you because you're so athletic and strong. What if you built up their identity instead of tore it down? And we have these options. Every time we speak to our kid, we have that option. We can either build them up or tear them down. Boop. So I'm going to go through some real-life examples, stories about me in the past, and ways you can actually implement this and talk to you about how it makes sense. And if you want a super in-depth, real look at this, read the book Psycho-Cybernetics. It's about a plastic surgeon who noticed that when he was operating on people's faces, their actual personality changed. And so how they saw them, it goes into identity, how they saw themselves, how their actions aligned with the person that they saw. One specific example was he had a salesperson that he ended up just being kind of like a therapist working with people. So he worked with a salesperson who never made any sales at all. And eventually he got this guy to see himself as the kind of guy who closes people, the kind of guy who's confident, the kind of guy who can talk to people and has energy. And there's more to the story, but I'm summarizing. But in the end, he became one of the best salespeople in the country just by changing the way he saw himself. And he also says that the brain doesn't know the difference between memories and visualizations. What you can do is visualize yourself in the future and see yourself making sales, see yourself being confident, see yourself having abundance, and having the qualities of the person who can attract that kind of thing. So if you, and Tony Robbins says this all the time, so does his mentor, they say, if you have a target in your brain of what you want to achieve, your brain is now trained to achieve that. All of your actions, thoughts, and words will now begin to be guided towards that thing. And why wouldn't they? If you're somebody who thinks, well, that's bullshit, just think about it logically. Like, what do you think about all the time? Is it positive? Are they positive things or are they negative things? If they're negative things, do you tend to be a negative person? Do people think of you as a negative person? Do people think you're inspiring, motivated? Well, if you think about negative things all the time, if you're jaded, bitter, you don't like your job, you don't like the people you're around all the time, and you're just a negative person, then most likely you're thinking about negative things, so you have negative words, you have negative actions, and people think you're a negative person. Okay? So the thoughts in your head are kind of guiding your words and behaviors. So are you going to achieve much? Probably not, because you're not focused on that. You're getting what you focus on. Like, you focus on the negative, you're getting more negative. What if you were in the same job and were just extremely positive, inspirational, and motivational, and you were working on yourself every single day? Say you're in the Rising Fathers group, for example, and you're waking up early, you are hitting the gym, you're working on your disciplines, you're working on being positive, you're working on doing acts of service to your wife, you're working on being a better husband, a better father. Every single day you're intentionally building yourself in all these things. So you just become an inspiring man who affects everyone around him. Like, what if that was you? Do you think you would start to attract more success in your life? Yes, you would. Because now your brain is focused on positive things. That's all you're thinking about all day. You have no choice. Plus, you pop into the group and people are talking about how to improve themselves, how to be the absolute best person. So all of their thoughts are now your thoughts, which then become your words because now you're talking about it all day. And because you're talking about how to improve yourself all day, then you start to do those things because that's just who you are now. We don't talk about and think about one thing and do the opposite. If you do, you have a severe internal conflict. But most of the time, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're talking about, your actions will align with that. Like I said, if you don't, you have that internal conflict. So if you think about the goal that you want and you think about doing the kind of things that that person would do, then those two concepts will align, those two ideas will come together, and you can fast track your way to get to that goal. And even if you don't believe it, if you think, well, that's kind of woo, that's bullshit, that's hippie stuff, just try it. Just try being positive. First off, you're going to see how difficult it is to, if you're a naturally negative person, you're going to see how difficult it is to completely rewire your brain, where instead of saying, why doesn't, you have all these negative contractions in your speech, you start to say, this can happen, or I will figure out a way. And when something negative happens, if you stop saying, why did that happen? If you start saying, I will figure out a way, and just totally change the way you talk, you'll start to see that you see opportunity instead of negative things happening. So let's go back to proving to ourselves who we are with identity. And I talked to you about the book Psycho-Cybernetics, which I cannot recommend enough. So let's break it down to some real examples. So say I want to lose weight, like I got guys in our group who have to lose legitimately 100 pounds. And they're on that journey. Right now they're, say, 300 pounds, they want to get to 200. And they're on that journey. Right now they see themselves, like on our first call, talking with me, they see themselves as out of shape, lazy, sloppy, fat. That's what they tell me. They say, that's how I see myself right now. I say, okay, well, maybe that's accurate. Maybe that is what you are. But because you see yourself that way, what did you do yesterday? I say, well, I slept in, I drank. I've got guys that say, I drank 10 beers at night. I drink beers until I go to sleep. Then I slept in, missed my kid's soccer game, and then I had my first meal at 1 p.m., and I overate, and I didn't follow any type of nutrition plan whatsoever. So their actions aligned with how they saw themselves. If they saw themselves as David Goggins, they wouldn't have done that the day before. If they had the mentality of Jocko Willink and the discipline of him, they wouldn't have done those things. But they see themselves as this character in the brain. It's like they painted a picture of the worst attributes of themselves, and now they're living up to it. Like, it's not like their actions are defining their identity. They have this identity of themselves, and now they're just trying to prove that identity correct every single day by what they do or don't do. So let's just repaint the picture. Let's just instead make the picture, a Roman god of ourselves. Let's just make him ripped. Let's make him wise. Let's make him loving and caring. Let's make him abundant. Let's make this guy disciplined. Let's make this picture of ourselves, the man we want to become, every single attribute and characteristic of this ideal man that we want to become. We only live once. Why not? Why not? Why not try to become the absolute best man you can become right now in every single way? And don't wait 10 more years. You've already been doing that. You've already been waiting 10 more years. Don't wait another 10 more years. Just do it today. So you imagine yourself as this ideal man, and you think about it every day. You wake up in the morning and you journal about it. You say, who do I want to become? Well, I want to be strong. Okay, so we're going to go to the gym. We're going to watch what we eat. We're going to reach out to someone. They're going to help us get onto a nutrition plan, and we're going to watch every single thing that goes into our mouth. Okay, what else do we want to do? We want to be wise, and we want people to respect us. So what does that person do? Well, he reads. He listens. He listens to podcasts. He reads books from people he admires, and he fills his brain with thoughts other than his own so that he can kind of take on their thoughts and import wisdom into his brain. Okay, I want to be a good father. What does a good father do? Well, he tells his kids, I love you every single day. He gives them hugs. He's present with them. And you make a list of the kind of things that man would do, things that you're not doing. And maybe you're doing good things and you want to hold on to those. Write those down too. Say, I want to keep doing these things. But then write down things you want to start doing. And then, if that day you do the kind of things that that man does, guess what? You are that man. You don't have to wait 10 years. You are doing the things that that kind of guy does. Okay, you have this picture of him. You do the things he does. Then you are him. In terms of the results, in terms of getting what that man gets, you have to wait for that now. But you have to keep on doing the things that that kind of guy does. It won't happen immediately. It won't happen right away. But you have to just be patient and wait. If you're 100 pounds overweight and tomorrow You go to the gym, you wake up at 3 a.m., you hit the gym for 2 hours, you work out, you do cardio, and you're at the end of the day, you're in a caloric deficit, and you nail your macros. You don't miss it by a single gram. You drink a gallon of water, you hit the sauna. You did every single thing that it's just a complete savage ultra marathon guy would do. Are you going to be down 100 pounds that day? No. You might be down 0. Maybe you gained weight through some act of nature. Don't let that discourage you. That's called the lag time. That's where you have to wait until the results show up. So you could even be doing all the right things for 6 straight months. That's amazing to be that consistent and disciplined. Do the right things for 6 straight months, and the results aren't there yet. That's because you haven't earned them yet. It takes longer. I think Bedros Keuilian had a quote a couple weeks ago. He said, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're not mentally ready and prepared to be in debt and have 0 profit for the first 5 years, then you're not cut out to be it. So I know a lot of people who talk to me about it. Yes, I need help building a brand, building an online business. Like, I want to make this amount of money in the next 3 months. I say, okay, that's a good goal to have, but let's focus instead on doing the things daily that you haven't been doing. That's the most important part, is doing the kind of things that align with the kind of guy who would make that amount of money. Like, you want to make $40,000 a month 3 months from now? All right. Are you ready to live a completely different life? Are you ready to get no sleep and live like an insane, savage, badass person? Like, be ultra hyper disciplined, invest money, lose money before you can build up to that point? It takes a complete reworking of yourself. So you have to be careful with that. But you have to have a vision of yourself. You have to imagine who you want to become. It has to be crystal clear. And then you have to slowly start implementing the things that kind of person does. So it is possible for you to do this. You can completely change your identity. You can completely change the actions that align with that identity. You can completely change your life, but it all starts with you seeing yourself as the man who can do whatever you want to do. Do you want to be fit? Do what a fit man does. Do you want to be wealthy? Do what a wealthy man does. Do you want to be a great father? Do what a great father does. But first, imagine yourself as that man so that you can align your actions with how you see yourself. That's how I was. Anytime I've made a big transformation in myself, it always started between my ears. I never started working out hard without first thinking about it and thinking about who I wanted to become. And I'm still thinking about who I want to become. I have to keep on pushing that up. I have to keep on raising my eyes. I have to keep on lifting my vision over and over and over again so that I can elevate the vision of myself. Because I also don't want to limit myself by the vision I have of myself. So the vision of myself has to be massive, has to be huge, or else I will work down to the goals I have. And I want to far surpass the goals I have. So I better set huge goals, high goals, have a massive vision of myself so I can always be striving for more and not being complacent and settling for less. You can change your life. I've done it to myself. Guys in our group are doing it. We have guys completely changing around their financial status, starting businesses, selling businesses, reworking their discipline, reworking their marriage, reworking their fatherhood. I see it all the time, so I'm confident telling you that you can also do it. You just have to believe in yourself and believe that you can do it. If you do those things, it's possible. Imagine yourself clearly and every single day as the man you want to become, and then you can become that man. But first imagine it, and then do the kind of things that guy does.